Such a great point. Do you, when you're interviewing or talking with folks about launching an alternate identity, do you ever ask them to kind of pause on it to say maybe your current brand isn't as strong enough in the community? Do you ever get into those situations? And that's kind of sticky because you're like almost like, hey, I don't want to work with you. I don't want business because you haven't grown the current brand as it is.
Definitely. So Springfield Lucky Horseshoes is a great example when we were just in Springfield
Uh-huh.
together because their whole identity is based on a horseshoe sandwich, but the main logo is a true horseshoe that 99.9% of the world would recognize. And so it's a delicate balance on saying, hey, make sure they understand your brand before you start going way into the food or way into these other kind of things. And so everything that we did over the last couple of years with them has always kind of been like 1 degree off. So they
Mhm.
became the cheddar monsters for a game. So there's cheddar cheese sauce that's poured over. So it made a connection. So I think that there's a lot of times that it can get confusing to people.
Mhm.
And we see it every time a club does a specialty night. They put it on social media, and the first five comments are, "Is this full time or is this what? How are we
What's
doing
going
this?"
on here?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think that it's really, really important that your brand still stays strong, your primary brand. Um, but then there's also times where I've worked with clubs, and there's even some projects coming up that are going to get released the next year or so, where they go, "Hey, we had this in our style guide, but we want to emphasize it more and make it more modern or do a throwback version of it." And I always get really hesitant about super small changes. That is this making the effort you want? So if you have, let's say you were a minor league baseball team that got their branding in 2005. It could use a little refresh. But if you start just doing it the slightest tweak, most people aren't going to know. They're going to be confused about it. They're going to actually more likely lean towards what they previously had. They're going to go, "Why did you change it? Why was it necessary?" So I think it all comes down to balance. It's probably one of my favorite words is whether it's the symmetrical aspects of it or the balance of it. I think you need to really make sure that what you're producing is different enough and elevate it. There's nothing wrong with testing the waters. I'm surprised that more minor league teams haven't tried that, to be honest, to say, "Hey, this is what we're going to be on a specialty night," with the pure goal of, if this goes super well, we're just going to be this full time. I'm surprised it hasn't been kind of a trial period, but I think there's definitely been cases where it's just a matter of, are you taking it far enough to be different,
Mhm.
or have you allowed the time for it to kind of settle to make sure that people understand you're still going to be team A? This is just a Friday night type of thing.
Do you ever see teams that take it too far and say, "Hey, I want to release 7 identities," and you're just like, "Wait a minute here."
Yeah, I mean, there we won't name any names, but there's definitely some teams that it feels like every single night they're doing something different. And I think that comes down to, do you want to be considered genuine? Do you want to be considered honest? And so I've worked with quite a few projects where I said, look, if you gain your fandom's trust, they're with you for the long haul. But the average consumer is very, very good at picking up BS. And you know it from a marketing side. If you produce something that says, "Oh, hey, this is a youth initiative," and then you realize that it's a complete money grab, people are going to be turned off so fast. And so I think the more it happens and the more that people do, and there's some teams that I know this next year have like 12 different identities, which is absolutely insane. To me, that borders on the side of, are you doing it because you want to have fun or for a specific initiative, or is this purely a money grab? And I think it's a very, very slippery slope that I would put eggs into baskets that you feel very comfortable with, and not just a, "oh, heck, let's just do it" situation.